One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, my wife Emily returned home from work, her expression weary yet composed. She casually mentioned that she would be heading to the hospital in 5 days due to a minor stomach issue. "The doctor thinks it's best for me to stay there for a couple of weeks," she said, her voice carrying a note of sadness that resonated with me. Although I was surprised by the news, I wasn't entirely shocked. I had been aware of her discomfort for some time, often hearing her soft groans of pain at night. I had encouraged her to see a gastroenterologist, thinking it was a precautionary measure, assuming it wasn't anything too serious. In the days leading up to her hospital stay, Emily was busy wrapping up tasks at work, ensuring her responsibilities were in order before her absence. We agreed that I would visit her every evening after my shifts, a small comfort amidst the growing anxiety I felt. The thought of her being in the hospital unsettled me, and I found myself feeling down and a bit anxious about the situation. On the evening she checked into the hospital, I wanted to make sure she had everything she needed for her stay. I packed a bag with her favorite pajamas, a few cherished books, and some snacks to make her feel more at home. "I miss you already," I said, trying to keep the mood light despite the heaviness in my chest. "I hate the thought of coming home to an empty apartment." I kissed her gently on the cheek, hoping to convey warmth and reassurance. Emily's stay in the hospital stretched over 2 weeks. Initially, our visits were filled with warmth and relief. She seemed genuinely excited to see me each evening, her face lighting up when I entered the room. We would talk about our days, share jokes, and I would try to lift her spirits with stories from my day. However, as time passed, I noticed a subtle shift in her demeanor. The warmth she had initially displayed began to fade, replaced by a noticeable distance that I couldn't quite understand. At the time, I attributed this change to boredom and the discomfort of being confined to a hospital room. But in hindsight, I realized I should have been more attentive to the signs. When Emily was finally discharged from the hospital, I was overjoyed. I spent the entire day before her return cleaning the house meticulously, wanting everything to be perfect for her homecoming. The doctor had advised Emily to follow a special diet to aid her recovery, so I took the time to stock the kitchen with fresh, nutritious foods and prepared meals that would support her healing. I genuinely went above and beyond to make her recovery at home as comfortable and seamless as possible. "You're really trying your best," she said, her voice soft with gratitude as I helped her settle back in. "Just rest," I replied, wanting her to focus solely on getting better. As Emily gradually recovered and returned to work, I believed that we had left the health challenges behind us. Life seemed to be returning to normal, and I felt a sense of relief. However, this sense of normalcy was shattered by an unexpected turn of events. One afternoon, I received a phone call from a woman whose voice I didn't recognize. She insisted that we meet in person, saying it was important information regarding my wife. Her urgency caught me off guard, and despite my initial hesitation, I agreed to meet her during my lunch break at a mall near my office, my mind swirling with questions and uncertainty. When I arrived at the mall, the woman was already there, waiting with a serious expression on her face. "Good afternoon," she said without any preamble. "This is about your wife." She introduced herself as Laura, a nurse who had worked in the ward where Emily had been staying. Laura showed me a photo of a doctor with his arms around Emily, and my heart sank. "I've observed them getting quite close," she explained, her voice steady but concerned. "I suspect they might still be seeing each other. Why are you telling me this?" I asked, my voice tinged with confusion and frustration. "Well, Daniel, the doctor, had shown me interest before your wife arrived, but once she was there, his focus shifted entirely to her," Laura said, her tone a mix of disappointment and earnestness. I found it hard to absorb her words. I was more interested in processing the implications of what I had just learned. Memories began to flood back. Emily's emotional distance during her hospital stay and the faint scent of men's cologne I had noticed one evening when I returned home. By the end of the workday, I was struggling to hold it together, eager to get home and confront Emily. When she finally walked through the door, she seemed unusually preoccupied, immediately launching into a monologue about work and the pile of tasks awaiting her. I listened quietly, my mind racing, until I could no longer contain my thoughts. "Emily, just level with me," I said, my voice firm and steady. "If you found someone better, why are you still with me? Just tell me you want a divorce." She froze, her eyes widening with a mixture of surprise, confusion, and perhaps fear. "What are you talking about?" she asked, clearly bewildered by my accusation. "Cut the act," I replied, my frustration boiling over. "I know all about your doctor." Her gaze dropped to the floor, silence filling the space between us. "If you're seeing him, then go be with him. Why hide it? I'm not going to beg you to stay. Pack your things and go live with him." "But I'm not ready for this," she stammered, her voice trembling. "What are you waiting for? Do you want me to ignore what's going on and pretend everything's fine while you're still with him?" Tears streamed down her face as she began packing her belongings, the weight of the situation pressing down on both of us. She stepped out onto the balcony, phone in hand, trying to make a call, though I don't think anyone answered. That night, she didn't leave. Instead, she stayed in another room, the sound of her quiet sobs echoing through the apartment until the early hours of the morning. By Saturday, after a long and emotionally charged weekend, she finally moved out. On Monday morning, I filed for divorce. There was no sense of victory or satisfaction, but I felt it was necessary for her to confront the consequences of her actions. Emily ended up moving in with a friend, and soon enough, word spread that her relationship with the doctor had quickly unraveled. Apparently, Daniel was stunned when she showed up at his place, and their romance deteriorated rapidly, lasting only about a month. Meanwhile, I received a promotion at work, a surprising silver lining amidst the turmoil of my personal life. I haven't found a new girlfriend yet. Honestly, I'm focusing on myself and channeling my energy into my career and personal growth. Life has a peculiar way of throwing curveballs, and this experience has taught me the importance of being vigilant and paying attention to even the smallest details. You never know what may be happening behind the scenes, and sometimes it's the smallest clues that can lead to the biggest revelations.